Okay, the next video I'm going to go through here with you is how I have the students peer edit their formative assessments. We usually will do this either the same day or the day after they've taken the formative, and this is where students will catch a lot of easy mistakes that their peers made and get them corrected for them. So in Google Drive, if you type in formative instructions or formative assessment instructions, it's going to get you to the PowerPoint that I pull up for the students and walk through with them as we peer check this. Students will need the highlighter buckets because each person will need a highlighter as they will peer edit somebody else's. So just make sure when you pass them out that you're not giving them their own and that the owner of that formative is not currently seated at that table also. So I'm just going to kind of summarize it on this aspect here. The first check that students will do on the one they're looking at is a claim check. They're looking to see, does that student answer the question? So I'm going to zoom in here just a bit. When I look at this response here, if I am the claim checker, I'm looking for the answer, which would be this right here. So I, as the claim finder, would highlight that. And then, like the instructions say, give them a comment. It might be a, hey, good claim. Or it might be a, you don't have an answer to the question. The next one is the evidence finder. This is the tricky one because there's two parts to this. Students not only need to check their source, then they need to check their evidence. What you will see is sometimes students will put number 14, lasting impact, as their source. And as the instructions say, that's not the source. So if students have that situation, they just circle it, leave them a comment that says, hey, your source is not correct. In my situation here, this is my source. So as the evidence finder, I would be highlighting that piece. The second part of it is the evidence in itself. So it should be a quote or it should be a description of a picture. What the evidence also says here is that it needs to match the claim. So sometimes you'll come across a student who has a piece of evidence that has nothing to do with what they're trying to say. And students are instructed to give them a comment of, hey, that doesn't quite match. In my situation here, it does. So I'm going to highlight that as the evidence. The next one is probably one of the hardest for students to put together, and that's the reasoning. That's, again, not a summary of the evidence. It's how does it connect? And so when I look at this, this proves my claim because if imperialism hadn't happened, Africa wouldn't be behind like they are now due to the treatment of the Europeans. That right there doesn't summarize my quote. It tells why my quote supports what I say. So if it's accurate, students are instructed to highlight it and give them some feedback. Okay, so this is a visual for you, a visual for the students. If they realize, hey, I'm missing a color, that means I don't have a component. And that's when they do corrections. So we do the peer checking, and then I give them probably 8 or so minutes to also do corrections on their formative before they turn it in. And so that's where that correction paper comes into play. For the unit that you will be doing, I print them on pink paper, and you should see those already for this first section where they'll staple it to the top or the top of the stack of their original formative. Okay, students understand this concept for the most part. We've done it a couple of times, but if they need further instructions, they can come see you.